high five, people. Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about mandatory drug testing for welfare recipients. And here's a little cartoon before we get started. So many states have proposed drug testing since the federal welfare reform in 1996. In 2009, over 20 states proposed legislation that would require drug testing to be eligible for public assistance programs. And then in 2010, at least 12 states had similar proposals. As of 2015, there are 13 states that require drug testing. So I'm going to go over a little history of the welfare program. It refers to federal government programs put into place to assist the unemployed or underemployed. It includes Medicaid, the WIC program, aid to families with dependent children. In the early days of the U.S., the colonies imported the British Poor Law, which assisted those that couldn't work with cash or alternative forms of help, and then those that were able-bodied but unemployed were given public service employment in workhouses. And after the Great Depression, many families suffered, and it's estimated that 1/4 of the labor force was unemployed. Here's a little timeline of the history. In 1935, the Social Security Act was enacted under President Roosevelt. And then in 1939, the Act was amended and established the programs designed to provide the aid. In 1996, President Clinton signed the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. That's where the federal government gives lump sums to the states to assist the poor, but each state must adhere to the criteria that the government set forth. So, why should drug testing be mandatory among welfare recipients? I'll tell you why. It promotes employment, adding more hoops for people to go through to receive the welfare benefits might make it more difficult to maintain and might be a great motivator for some people who just don't have the time or energy to waste on all these tests. It will deter drug use. It's more likely for someone in the poverty class to be abusing drugs than someone with higher wealth status. Not my opinion, that's statistic. And it might be a step in the right direction for the war on drugs. It also saves us money. Removing drug abusers from state aid programs would decrease the amount of money each state must provide to the citizens. And enforcement may weed out a number of recipients who are breaking the law and who aren't eligible for benefits in the first place. And then I had to put my little political thing in there. So on the left, Donald Trump said the food stamp program was originally created as temporary assistance for families with momentary times of need, and it shouldn't be needed often. Thankfully, 96% of American support parents say that children never suffer even a day of hunger. But when half of food stamp recipients have been on the dole for nearly a decade, something is clearly wrong, and some of it has to do with fraud. And then Hillary argued that expanding food stamps and other safety net programs is essential to fuel economic growth. Economic growth will take off when people in the middle feel more secure again and start spending again. In this case, I agree with Donald Trump. And then Ronald Reagan said that welfare's purpose should be to eliminate, as far as possible, the need for its own existence. Basically, people shouldn't be living off of welfare instead of getting a job. You know, it's just meant to help people out for a period of time until they can get back on their feet. So here are the states where drug testing is mandatory now. In 2016, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Utah, Georgia, Kansas, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. So there's 17 states that had proposals, and those are the states that it went through. So Florida passed a law requiring all applicants to be tested. So they have to be notified of the testing. They have to pay for it up front, and then if it's negative, they get reimbursed through their check that they're gonna get, and if it's positive, they don't get reimbursed. If it's positive, they can be eligible again in 6 months, and they have to go through an approved substance abuse program. And a parent's positive test doesn't necessarily mean that the child will be affected, but they have to have a person that is drug-free that can get the benefits for them, kind of like a protective person. So the governor signed the bill on May 31st, 2011, and it went into effect in 2011. But then the American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit to stop the bill, and a federal judge ordered a temporary injunction. In 2013, the program came to a halt. So Florida is not part of the program. So my closing argument would be, if I have to take a drug test to get a job, then people should have to take drug tests to get money, and they're not working. If you're truly poor and you really want to get back on your feet, you wouldn't have a problem being drug tested. I've seen so many people with tattoos and their hair done and their nails done, and they're paying with welfare. So I really think that not only the drug testing, I think other things should be implemented, but I think this is a really good step in the process. So, thank you. Can you show everyone again?